All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a very throwback episode or race of the SimPossible Racing League. Here, joining me is AJ Digby, name is Carlos Acosta, and we are here at Darlington to wrap up the Truck Series season. AJ, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty well. Excited for this race here at Darlington. It's going to be a good one, and excited to see some of these throwback paint schemes that you guys will be able to see on your screen here in a little bit.
Yes, I am very excited as well. Not too many throwback schemes today, although I just saw a truck that I haven't seen since my days of playing Dirt to Daytona. I am excited to see these schemes, and we should be seeing more throughout tomorrow and Wednesday, as pretty much every race we are broadcasting this week is going to be at the famous Darlington Speedway. With a majority of throwback schemes, I just can't wait to see them all. We are currently looking at 25 of Kyle Zimmer, who is the current points leader. So before we do go into the points, or before we talk about more drivers, how about we go into the points, AJ? I believe you have an update on that. Only 2 drivers are mathematically in.
Yeah, I do. The drivers mathematically left are Kyle Zimmer and Kevin Paskowicz. Zimmer currently holds a 12-point lead in the Truck Series, so he's got a pretty sizable lead, just has to take care of business, hopefully keep the car clean. But in third place is Fernando Matos, who is mathematically out 24 points behind Kevin Paskowicz. And then we have Capers, Lowhead, Billy Wise, Nate Cotilla to round out those top 7 that have done 9 races with us so far. And today is the 10th race. There are currently 3 drivers with 2 wins each. Chris Roberge has 2 wins. But he did miss a race earlier in the year, which hurts him to be up towards the top of the points. And then your 2 guys at the top, Kyle Zimmer and Kevin Paskowicz, have your other 2 wins in the Truck Series. So hopefully, obviously, we'll be crowning a winner here tonight, and Kyle Zimmer and Kevin Paskowicz can hopefully put on a good show and keep their trucks clean and towards the front and be a great battle.
That's true, and I can't wait to see how we're going to wrap up this season. After this will be a couple-week break, and then the drivers will resume back in, I believe, a winter series, although the tracks and the vehicles are yet to be determined, although I am very interested in seeing what they will be running. Unfortunately, we will not be broadcasting that series, but we will be back broadcasting them in the Cup Series when they do return back in 2020 on Mondays. So, AJ, will you be participating in that series?
I'll be doing my best. Obviously, a lot happened between now and then, but it is with my greatest interest to be a part of this series in whatever they intend to do for the future. So just obviously between my track and work schedule and things like that in school, but I'm hoping to be a part of it and keep my Zulu Motorsports machine running and hopefully towards the front.
That's great. I believe qualifying has wrapped up, and then we're going to go on and go with the starting grid in just a moment as soon as drivers start gridding up for the race. All right, qualifying on the pole here is Kyle Zimmer with a lap time of the lap time of 27 seconds, 171 miles an hour with Alan Capers on his outside. I do believe I messed up my, No, there we go. It's working now. I don't know why. Kevin Paskowicz will be qualifying in 3rd with Fernando Matos in 4th. In 5th will be Chris Roberge with Johnny Berardi 6th. 7th will be Tom Johnson. Of course, Tom did not put in an actual lap time, with Kevin Cochran in 8th. 9th place will be Billy Wise in the 32 with 10th place of James Afa. And last driver to start on this 11-car field is going to be the 66 of Brian Lowhead. And Brian is always one of those people that does not really qualify too much. But that being said, just qualifying or not, it should be a very, very quick series of a race here tonight. So therefore, with a short amount of field, it's not going to be too much of an issue if you don't really qualify in the back. But you have to get yourself up front very, very quickly. Otherwise, you do risk not being in a position to dominate at the end.
Yeah, we do have 95 laps here tonight at Darlington under the lights here, and it is kind of a bigger track, but the amount of room, as you can see there on your screen, there's only about 2 or 3 lanes of actual car width, let alone you can probably only get about 2 wide, maybe squeeze it 3 wide at a couple points. So it's going to be interesting to see that it's a deceptively small track in a way, because there's so much room on the inside on the apron there that you're thinking, hey, I could go down there, but then with the camber, it's not as right with all the banking, and so staying up on the top is the optimal line around here. And if these guys can keep it straight, it'll be a fast race, as you guys saw on the qualifying times, who were running about 160, 170 mile per hour averages. So very fast track if we can keep everything going forward, and these 95 laps could go really fast.
That's true, and pace car is off. We're about to go green flag here for the first lap of this season finale. The 25 and 13 gets side by side. Green flag is coming out, and green flag is out here. Only a couple laps, well, pardon me, a lot of laps left before this championship is crowned, and I just can't wait.
Yeah, this championship, it like we had already mentioned, it comes down to these two drivers, but so many of the drivers have put in great work over the whole season. It's really kind of a celebration to come down to the end of this.
Oh!
It is only there is contact at the front.
Yes, and I believe the caution will come out. Yes, caution is out. Let's go. I believe there was contact with the 13 and the 25. Let's go see if we can go back and see the contact that was made right there. It seems like the 25 just checked up just a little. Contact with the 27 of Paskowicz and the 13 going around. Heavy damage for the 25. Although with that type of damage, I don't really see. It's not really going to be much of a cause for concern this early on. I would probably recommend just staying out, not staying out, but getting the damage repaired, and not using a fast repair. As because of this, now the 98 Tide truck is now leading the race. And AJ, do you see if you remember what era this truck was from?
Oh, I do not remember directly with that. I do know between Darrell Waltrip and I believe Ricky Rudd, but I'm not positive, have ran those trucks before. So my guess would be 80s, early 90s, but I'm not 100% positive. I was not around then.
That's true. Well, caution is out before we even completed the first race. It's we do plan on running a couple laps with this throwback theme, which you guys are seeing. It is of the mid 2000 era ESPN type of theme, and then we're gonna switch back out to a regular theme for the rest of the race. But we barely had a chance to run more than a couple laps with this theme. We're going to give it to maybe another caution or two before we do go back out. So of the drivers that did go down per road, that's going to be the 27 Paskowicz, the 25 Zimmer, Alan Capers, and Tom Johnson. These four drivers going down per road. I do not remember seeing Tom Johnson get any damage on that, but it's possible maybe he did collect it in that, or got some damage just a little bit earlier. So he did go down per road and is currently being shown 11th. The current race leader is going to be the 98 of Chris Roberge. Not much laps will run on the green. Not even one lap. So it's too early to see what these drivers have. But I think these top four trucks for sure are all throwbacks. Let's see if we can get a better look at some of these. We got the 98 truck we were talking about. Wasn't this the 25 Budweiser car?
Honestly, I have no idea.
It reminds me of, I think, Ken Schrader. I don't know. This is way before my time, as we are one to go right now. Kevin Cochran, I believe that's a good wrench scheme. It might be
is good wrench.
Yes. And then the 88, yep, it's possible. Isn't that one the one Earnhardt ran? Or am I thinking too much into it?
It has the same color scheme, but I don't believe it is that one. It is Speedco,
Yes.
And that isn't ringing a bell for me.
Well, the one
and then
right
behind
him, yeah.
There's another yellow, which is the Wrangler.
That one might be the one I'm thinking of. I have such a bad memory with these things. I do love seeing them, and they do remind me of schemes and cars and stuff like that. So we are on one to go. These drivers have doubled up. We're going to be going back green very, very shortly.
Base car is off.
Pace car is off, and these drivers are about to get the green flag any moment now. Any moment now, and both of these drivers go. The green flag is out. The 98 got caught sleeping as the 17er Fernando Matos got a great jump on taking the lead. Now the I believe the 88 of James Safad is going to be battling the 98 of Chris Roberge, but the advantage goes onto the inside, which is pretty strange considering what type of track this is. You kind of have to give it your all on the outside line to have a decent shot, AJ. There's been many times that passing on the inside has become very, very difficult, but it seems like the 98 of Chris Roberge got a great did a great job getting on the inside, either with some luck or maybe a slip up on some kind. But the 88 is back up. Well, he was back up behind the 98, but now entering the corner and going through the corner, the 98 is being able to use that some momentum to clear the 88. As now Chris Roberge is catching up onto the back of Fernando Matos. Fernando, it seems like he does have a fast car, but it looks like the 98 Chris Roberge might be one of the faster trucks out there so far in the early run, AJ.
Yeah, it appears to be very momentum-based, as we saw Chris got up really close to the back of Fernando, and then Fernando just had a really good corner, and Chris lost a little bit, and then they separated there on the front stretch, and then now they're nose to tail again. So there's a lot of ebbs and flows that we'll see over the course of this race. It'll be interesting to see how tire wear or fuel strategies could play out as well. These guys do run 60% fuel on the Monday night series that we have, so I'm not sure how many laps that'll be able to take them, but it's good to see some green flag racing. And as I mentioned, we had just seen Chris on the back bumper of Fernando, and then he gets back by about 4 car lengths, and then now he is right back up on the bumper again.
Chris Roberge definitely wants to take the lead badly and almost made some contact, and I wasn't able to get it from that angle, but did you see the 98 hit the wall? It's now the 88 of Jim Safad is going to be going side by side on the front stretch, entering turn 1. See if he can use the inside line to get some good look. Contact with the 98! Either it was netco, there was actual contact, but the 98's car is killed. His truck is killed after smacking the outside wall. Did make some other contact with James Efa, some almost additional contacts that I believe that one might be, 13 of Adam Capers goes around, and I believe that will be a caution.
Yeah, that does bring out a caution, and we had 2 rows of 2x2 and just a little bit of contact between, it appeared to be Efa and Chris Roberge to kind of jumpstart this whole thing, but we'll see if the Capers incident stemmed from that or if it was a completely separate. We have the replay right here. Single file currently, him and Tom Johnson.
Ooh, just getting a little too much
just
momentum.
Taps the outside wall. Lucky for Tom Johnson to be able to escape from that unscathed. Was able to just slide in from behind him and not get his nose taken off. So unfortunate for Capers to bounce off the outside wall, but that's what can happen at such a thin track like Darlington is.
Much of these drivers going on down Pear Road. I believe everybody's going down Pear Road, as also Adam Capers is being registered as off track. Actually, he's not being back shown on the racetrack, but in pit road. So we're going to get back onto seeing what Adam Capers is going to be doing. He did have to take a tow, but a lot of these drivers going down pit road right now. We're going to try to follow a couple of these drivers, see what's going to happen with them.
Yeah, just of note, Tom Johnson, the only the car that just missed that wreck right there, Tom Johnson did stay out. So we'll see if he's leading lap and going to pit again later, or if he's going to just continue to stay out in front.
And James Safad is going to have a pretty big run as Kevin Paskowicz, I believe, is going to take the lead. Well, not the lead in general at the moment, but if the 57 of Tom Johnson does go down Pear Road, then he would be taking the lead. It seems like very, very great entry and exit of pit road for the 27, making up a couple spots. Fernando Matos is being shown second out of pit road with Kyle Zimmer third, James Efa fourth, and Billy Wise fifth out of pit road.
That is the second time that Paskowicz has gained a spot on pit road. He came in the previous caution behind Kyle Zimmer when half of the field pitted and was able to pass Zimmer on pit road. So that's twice now that him and his crew have had a really fast stop and been able to gain a position, as we do see Tom Johnson had gone down pit road, led the lap, got his bonus point, and now is going to pit for fresh tires. And so the lead will cycle back to Kevin Paskowicz.
So Once again, to mention, this is the season finale of the Truck Series. One driver will be crowned, and it is between what two drivers again, AJ?
Kevin Paskowicz and Kyle Zimmer.
And Kevin Paskowicz does have the lead, but how much of a difference is it between the lead?
Well, there is a 12-point difference going into tonight. So Kevin Paskowicz leading this lap will basically turn that into an 11-point difference. But with only 11 cars in the field, I don't know if there's...
Well, going into how you can earn points is leading a lap and leading the most lap. That's an additional point for each, as well as winning the races. We are going to go back to green very, very soon. Pace car is actually off. These drivers are going to be going side by side once again. We'll be back talking points picture pretty soon. But a green flag should be coming out, and green flag is out. Leaders going side by side. This time oh wow, the inside driver did not get caught sleeping, but did make some contact with Fernando Matos. Fernando Matos is going to be dropping back. Very lucky he doesn't hit the outside wall. Current leader Paskowicz is going to hold on to the lead, but right behind him, he does have a very, very hungry 25 of Kyle Zimmer.
Yeah, Kyle Zimmer is really hungry. He was caught up in that first caution, and so now he's trying to make his way back up through the field, also knowing that he wants to have a good finish for points. Also, on top of that, knowing that Kevin Paskowicz has already had a bonus point for leading this lap. So if Kyle Zimmer can get up there and lead one of these laps, it'll help him to even out on that bonus point standings. And he also doesn't want Paskowicz to lead too many laps and get the extra bonus point for leading the most. So a little bit at stake here where he wants to make a move, but you also need to be careful and not damage your car too much and basically finish last into this race. But here he goes, making the move to the inside. Contact. Car's able to stay straight. That is going to drop Kevin Paskowicz with some damage to his right front, and Kyle Zimmer is going to take the lead here.
Heavy, heavy damage for the 27 of Paskowicz, and that's going to allow Kyle Zimmer to take the lead, as you mentioned, but he does have a very, very hard charging James Affa. Kyle Zimmer goes a little bit wide, but he will hold on to lead a lap and make that deficit a little bit harder for the 27 of Paskowicz. Going into the season ending race last week for the K&N series in the split battle. I don't remember what it's called, to see Tom Johnson exiting pit road. The leader, the points leader going into the race was able to hang on, which was the 25 of Kyle Zimmer, ended up winning the championship. And he's looking very, very good to win the second championship in back-to-back weeks, which would actually make it his third championship overall in the SimPossible Racing League. In a very, very early stages of life for the SimPossible Racing League. That's actually very dominant of a driver to win 3 championships within pretty much a year and a half.
Yeah, Kyle Zimmer has been a very good driver in this league. One thing that I had mentioned in a previous broadcast is he reminds me of Scott Dixon in IndyCar, just constantly towards the front. Doesn't really win a whole lot of races, but is always at the front, always getting good laps, gets a bonus point or two for leading a lap, and he'll sneak a win in here and there, but you constantly are seeing him on the podium, and he's almost never outside the top 5. And it leads to good points, especially in a situation like 2 split series on Monday nights where there's no drop weeks, no provisionals, and so it's all strictly based on points. And so he's there every week, he's having consistent finishes every week, and it allows him to win these championships.
This shooter here is pretty much the first 3 drivers are all separated, but going pretty much for a battle for 4th is a 32. Really kills that outside wall. That should bring out a caution. Caution should be coming out here pretty soon, as I'm going ahead and trying to finding out where actually that wasn't a 32.
98 went around very hard. Heavy damage he had to tow. He's on pit road currently.
I don't know why. I guess the scheme and everything reminded me of the 32. So I also see the 27 pounding the wall. I believe that was a 66 that just barely
Brian
made it
Lohead
through, yeah.
just thread the needle there, but the 27 spun on a totally separate incident, it looked like.
Oh, clipping the apron. you look at this track and you see how wide it is, but it really isn't. This track is very narrow for considering how much paved area there is. That white dashes of line, that's essentially where the apron is. And yes, it is raceable down there. Just take a look at the 66, see how close he was. Wow.
Ooh.
Woo. But it's very hard to really make your vehicle work down there. You essentially have to plan ahead and know you're going to be going down there, because while it is very helpful to actually de-wedge the car and make it rotate easier, a car or truck, it can cause an easy spin out like we saw with the 27. So a bunch of drivers going down pit road. 25 Matos, Zimmer, Paskowicz, Fernando Matos, Kevin Cockrum, Billy Wise going down pit road, James Afa, Tom Johnson. Oh, Tom Johnson stayed out, pardon me. Let's take a look at the quick battle exiting the pit stalls. I actually believe the 25, 25 easily got out ahead of that one. We're going to go ahead and take a quick visual break as we go ahead and reset ourselves back up to our normal broadcasting standards. All right, welcome back, everybody. We should be going back to green relatively soon, as we are now back in our normal theme style. It's a little throwback surprise to everybody out there. It's back to normal, and you'll be looking forward to see. If you want to see that again, we'll be broadcasting that same type of theme for a couple laps tomorrow's race and on Wednesday's race again, as we are now 1 to green. One before we go back to green, and pretty much early in the race. AJ, who do you think has this?
Yeah, we've seen a couple different pull up at the front. I think honestly the best answer I would have for you right now is Kyle Zimmer. He was at the front on that last stint there and was able to pull a pretty decent gap there before the caution. So I think his truck is looking pretty good, but you never know, especially at Darlington. If you are kind of newer to NASCAR, they have the Darlington stripe is what they call it, and we've seen a lot of guys up in the wall. And if you ever watch an actual NASCAR race, there ends up being a stripe on the side of your car of paint, and then also the stripe all the way around the track of where the drivers have been up in the wall pretty much everywhere. And that's kind of how Darlington goes, being so, as I mentioned, deceptively thin. But anything can happen with these drivers, but Kyle Zimmer has definitely shown speed early on, so he would be my current favorite to win this race.
All right, green flag is back out as the 25 gets a really good run on the outside and overtakes as a couple drivers make some contact on the outside wall. 32 and the 88 both make contact, forcing the 88 into the outside wall. Looking into it, as 25 gets a massive lead in turns 1 and 2. The battle goes back onto seeing who can compete out there for second, as it looks like the 88 of James Paul is kind of pulling away with that, as now the battle for third is heating up with Kevin Paskowicz and Billy Wise. Going a little bit further in the back, we are seeing what I believe is the 98 machine was going side by side another driver, but currently 98 is 2 laps down. The only driver 2 laps down Kevin Cochran, Adam Capers, and Tom Johnson, 8th through 10th, are both 1 lap down respectively. As the 27 is still trying to. It's actually, pardon me, we've been catching up to the 88 of James Fafal, who does have some significant right and left side damage after making contact with the 32 and the outside wall. He is being caught by the 27. But all that being said, Kyle Zimmer is just pulling away to another win and possibly, another championship and possibly another race win. Kyle definitely wanted to win the race last week, unfortunately making some late race contact and getting spun out. Of course, not on purpose, resulted him in not getting the win. Wasn't necessarily too happy about that, but he's letting bygones be bygones, moving on, celebrating the fact he got a championship, and is trying his best to earn himself a second championship here. As we see the 27 trying to go by the 32 trying to go by the 27. These custom schemes are really throwing me off, AJ.
Oh yeah, I've been racing with these guys so long that you get used to the certain colors and schemes that these guys run, and other than Johnny Berardi and Kevin Paskowicz, it seems like everybody has some sort of different scheme. So very hard for us announcers to pick out who's who just from first glance. Definitely having to look at numbers and look around through the field. But yeah, Kevin Paskowicz did seem to get held up a little bit by James, but currently James is pulling back away a little bit. And Paskowicz was involved in that heavy contact.
Contact!
Second stint there. We're the back in the field. Are they going to save it? Currently, all the trucks are going forward. They're down on that big apron. No caution is going to come from that.
No caution came out, but at what cost? Because at 32, Billy Wise, a caution is actually out at this point. I believe that was thrown by the admins. I was going to mention it's like 419 over there with Billy Wise lines, but caution comes out. It's actually going to help Billy Wise's significant contact with the outside wall at 66, as I don't believe the 66 knew that Billy was there. Significant contact to an already damaged race truck, and the 66 of Lowhead is going to suffer as well. So caution is out. We did get a look at that already to begin with as the leader catches up the pace car. 30 laps into this 95-lap race. Very interesting so far. The way it's going, I don't really see this being anything other than Kyle Zimmer winning a race and a championship unless some late drama is involved, which, based on what happened last week, can happen this week. It's not over until the driver crosses the start-finish line, not even the last lap or the last corner. So the driver crosses the start-finish line, it is not over. So we have 25, the 88, and the 27 all going down pit lane right now.
Yeah, as I had mentioned earlier too, with Kyle Zimmer leading every single one of those laps there on that stint, that's going to help him towards getting that extra bonus point. And with having as big of a lead as I talked about earlier, I believe I said an 12-point lead going into tonight, Kevin Paskowicz probably medically would have needed Kyle Zimmer to not lead a lap and finish last if he wanted the outright win. So Kyle Zimmer leading the lap basically means that they could basically only tie, I think, as a top. And even at that, basically as long as Kyle Zimmer finishes 9th or better in this race, he should be able to secure the championship. But we do see some of the drivers here on pit road. Another good stop for Kyle Zimmer to be able to come out in the front. And also, as I was flipping through the field there, Kyle Zimmer has the fastest single lap time in the field currently. So he was able to pull away from it, not only in the longer runs there, but also he has the best short run speed so far in the 27s. 27.6 is his best lap to be exact. The only other car who has touched the 27s is Alan Capers. So it'll be interesting to see what can happen if that car can get out towards the front as well. But so far it's kind of been all Kyle Zimmer, and things can change. A lot of these drivers are very good at adapting to the conditions of the track, adapting to what other people are doing line-wise, and sometimes a little bit of track position can change everything as well in some of these races with a fixed setup. So we'll see what happens going forward, but this is looking like Kyle Zimmer's championship, but it could still be anybody's night tonight.
So I do apologize for those funky looking numbers. It has occurred to me that a couple fonts were not installed before tonight's broadcast, so I do apologize. I had to do a factory reset on my computer to fix a couple issues and do a couple upgrades. So we'll make sure we get that set up for tomorrow's race as well as Wednesday's race. I mean, it may be possible to get that fixed pretty soon, but we'll have to get a quick caution for that to happen. That being said, Lowhead is right now the current race leader. He did stay out, so he does have 9-lap old tires compared to the race leaders, as we see the 66. Pardon me, not the 66 stayed out, and he's going to go down pit road. These, like I mentioned, these schemes they're throwing me for a loop, AJ. I'm struggling to see who's who. Although to be fair, the 66, that's the same paint scheme he always runs, so that's just not really the best excuse I could have come up with.
Well, the 66 had stayed out, led a lap, and then is now pitting. And Christopher Burge has stayed out, but with him being lapped down, this is going to allow him to get back to only 1 lap down because he's going to get the wave around, as you can see him going through the pace car right now. And he's going to get the wave around and be also in the 1 lap down category with Alan Capers and Tom Johnson.
So that's great to see another driver get their lap back. So it will be 3 drivers that are 1 lap down, and they're only 1 lap down. There are no drivers that are more than that. It is technically possible for Kyle Zimmer to still finish dead last, although at this point I do not believe that it would allow him to actually lose the championship. Before we do go back to green, I also want to go ahead and mention the people commentating on the chat. We have Billy Wise wishing good luck to everybody. Of course, Billy Wise is on track. He's currently 5th. And we also have Grassroots Sim Racing 13, AC13, always Alan Capers fan, saying he's representing 13, or she's representing 13, my bad. As well as saying that your grandson's set race, papa. So, Alan Capers, your grandson's rooting for you as the pace car is off. We're about to go back to green one more time. Lap 34 of 95. Green flag is out. The drivers cross the start-finish line, and these drivers are going to be heading to turn 1 side by side. The 17, the 27, and the 25. Some contact in the back. I believe that was one of the Earnhardt schemes that went up. Pardon me. That was the Kevin Harvick scheme that went up and hit the outside wall pretty hard. I believe there was some contact with the drivers. The 27 smacks the outside wall, like I've done many, many times. Right before you enter a corner, it sucks, but it happens. The drivers to the 27 there, you saw him trying to use the apron, got himself a little loose, had to back off the corner, and that allowed James Lafalt to catch back up and kind of give him a little bump in the straightaway, letting you know he's there. But of course, that meant he had to check up and allow the 27 of Paskowicz to pull away just slightly. After all that's being said and done, the 25 of Kyle pulling away even more as we're going side by side for 4th place between Fernando Matos and Billy Wise. Billy Wise, who was talking in the chat right before the race began, got himself now into 4th place as he went by the 17 of Fernando Matos, who did scrape the outside wall, gave himself some right side damage.
Yeah, Fernando Matos doing the Darlington striping on his car, so up in the outside wall, and it's not going to hurt your car too much, maybe a little bit of downforce issues, but nothing crazy, and mostly just going to be a little slight exterior damage and a small iRacing 1X, so nothing that's going to be too hindering, as we do see Brian Lowhead, I believe, down in pit road again, so he has pitted a couple times so far, and here he is down in pit road again. And just an update on the 3 cars before that green flag that were battling for the lap down lucky dog. Alan Capers has pulled away from that group so far, with Christopher Burge behind him, and then Tom Johnson towards the back of the pack there. So currently Alan Capers would get the free pass lucky dog if a caution were to come out, as we have now reached, I believe, 38 laps of the scheduled 95.
No, we're 37 laps, we're on lap 38 right now, but it's still very close. But not necessarily close for the lead, as you see the, I believe it's the 98 of Christopher Burge going by the 8 of Kevin Crocker. That is not for position. However, the 98 going around the 13 would not be for position because the 13 is not there. Going back up front, the 25 of Kyle Zimmer is pulling away, leading laps, and just making himself known that he will not have anything go wrong in this championship race-winning run. Kevin Paskowicz is in 2nd, and while James Lafalt was very close right behind him in 3rd, these last couple laps,
Paskowicz bounces off wall, keeps it straight.
I based on my vision, I thought he was actually going to fully spin out. Let's go back in the replay and take a look at what happened. Clearly, he did not spin out, but he did lose second place as going just a little bit too hard throughout the middle of the corner. Just hits the outside wall and just throws you down into the apron sideways. Really thought he was going to spin out, but he didn't. So great job on the 27 of Kevin Paskowicz to not fully lose the car, but will lose second place, and is actually not in danger of losing third place to Billy Wise, because Billy Wise currently is about 2.6 seconds behind the 27 of Paskowicz, and Paskowicz is 2.1 seconds behind the 88 in second.
Right now, Paskowicz is going to be happy to be able to keep her straight. I don't know how he saved that thing, so that was some great driving skill to keep that thing straight. Currently is just going to want to be able to keep the car as clean as possible with a little bit of front right damage he has, and hope at some point that there will be a caution that he can come in and get a fast repair or take normal repair and get some fresh tires on that and make a new run for the lead, as this is Kyle Zimmer's race so far, but James LaFall is running a pretty stable race. He hasn't really had any moments that we've had to talk about other than little light brushes like right there. Wow, commentators curse.
Yep.
But
it's called the ray gun now.
The ray gun now. So he's had a pretty great race so far and able to keep staying in second. Doesn't really have one of the fastest laps of the whole group, but he's able to keep that thing, even with that light touch. That right front is still pristine and able to keep that thing clean and towards the front. But as you had mentioned, and as we can see, Kyle Zimmer is way ahead of everybody right now, just consistently ticking off fast laps.
Oh! That is a 99 of Johnny Berardi. Caution is out. I believe we have found the cause for caution is actually maybe not. Let's go back on the replay and take a look and see if we can discover just what happened. The caution was with the 98, actually. The 99 had nothing to do with it. He did have some previous damage, of course, because he was smoking. But the 98 might have been just a little bit too much wheel and brought the truck around. Let's go back and see if we can try to figure out what went wrong with the 99. Let's go back a little bit further. There we go. His engine is no longer smoking. It's a that dreaded apron. He hit the apron, truck got upset, and then went up and hit the outside wall, roughly in around the same area the 98 of Christopher Birch did it. A couple seconds later, let's take a look at the 98 of Christopher Birch in a different view. Different circumstances, because the 98 actually hit the outside wall, carrying too much momentum, and then turned it around into the outside wall, once again going head front. Wasn't enough to destroy the engine, but caution did come out, as we do have a lot of drivers going down pit road to 25, to 27, 88, 32, 80, 17, all going down pit road right now, as I believe we just saw 25 getting a fast repair. Not fully sure on that. Either he was getting that or his truck was glitching out. We'll go see if we can talk to somebody after pit road is done. Actually, I believe the 25 suffered from some type of connection issue. We're having some difficulties trying to get his camera. There we go. All right. Well, currently in second place is being shown Alan Capers, but I believe he just stayed out because he's actually not being showed the leader. So he's, I believe, going to be pulling out to the side, letting the leaders go by. The real race leader will be the 25 of Kyle Zimmer, and then Kevin Paskowicz. AJ, let's go see if we can talk to the 27 of Kevin Paskowicz, who we know he's trying to go for a win out here tonight. But let's go see if we can have a chat with him and get his thoughts on how this race is going overall tonight. Kevin Paskowicz, do you have a copy?
Hey guys, what's up?
Hi Kevin, this is Carlos from 3Y TV. You're right now currently second in the race. I'm sure it's not necessarily going the way you really want it to go. I'm sure you want to be leading all the laps and seeing Kyle Zimmer all the way in the back, but that's currently not the way it's happening. But you're still running a very, very good race currently in second. How's your whole night going overall?
Oh, it's horrible. I hate this track. I think I've hit everything but the pace car. So it is what it is. Darlington's a tough track, and we're just here kind of through luck and purveyance, not getting caught up in a couple of things. So we'll see what we can do. I don't know. I'm not fast here, so I really actually dislike this track. I agree with whoever said they need to fill it in and make it a fish pond. It's probably the only track I will say that about, but Other than that, not a bad night.
All right, well, you're definitely second right now. Got 50 laps to go. It'll be interesting to see if you can try to get yourself a race winner with a 25, or if your luck will get a turn for the worse. So we do look forward to hearing from you when the race is over, and we do wish you luck on the rest of this race.
All right, guys. Thank you. I'll talk to you later.
All right, so that was the 27 Kevin Pasquich. AJ, what would you like to add?
There's no mincing of words there for Kevin Pasquich, who's not a fan of this track at all, but still able to keep this car consistently about second or third most of this night. James Afal has been able to be second for most of the night, but Kevin Pasquich has been right there with him, and for somebody who hates this track so much, he's definitely doing okay, and Kyle Zimmer must just absolutely love this track because he's on another tier currently in this race, and everybody else is fighting for second from there on.
Well, we are, pardon me. Well, we are going to go back to green with about 48 laps to go. Believe we only have one driver in pit road. No, my bad. Johnny Birdie's just catching up with the rest of the field. Pace car is off. The drivers are going to go back to green in just a couple of seconds. The 25, the 27, both of these are championship contending drivers, although as the laps go down, it is really leaning in the favor of the 25. No issues here for anybody, although I believe that's the 13. He may have just crossed the start-finish line just a little bit too early. We'll see if Race Control is going to call him on that. 13's Van Capers actually back on the lead lap, something you noted earlier based on who was running X amount of lap times, as we're seeing the leaders going side by side going into turn 3 and 4. Alan Capers was the only other driver to hit the 27-second mark. And he's actually been showing an incredible amount of speed while he was a lap down, getting himself up to pretty much almost 4th in line. Of course, him being a lap down, it didn't reflect any of that, so getting him back in the lead lap would be a great testament to see how the 13 of Alan Capers actually is doing out here tonight, as he's trying to pass the driver on the outside line. He just passed the driver on the outside line. I believe that was one of the mottos, and now Alan Capers is back in the top 5, so all those... Caution is out! Oh...
Yeah, there's a caution out. Johnny Berardi, look, he went around, possibly bounced off the wall, as we've seen a couple times tonight. But as you had just mentioned, Alan Capers had just gotten himself back on the lead lap and is all of a sudden back up in 5th. Looked like there might have been some contact there. Might have been after the fact, but Johnny Berardi definitely goes around and has some decent damage on that. Luckily able to drive away from the scene.
There was heavy contact with, I believe, was Chris or Burgeon at 98. We're going to go back, try to get another look on that. Yeah, I believe there was contact with the 98, and that's what sent the 99 spinning around. Heavy damage to both of these trucks. Although I think it's more damage to the 98, as yes, it's starting to smoke out there a little. The drivers,
as long as the 98 was able to drive that thing, you can see him right there driving it back to pit road. He'll be able to get a fast repair and keep that car on the lead lap. On that previous caution, Capers, Roberge, and Tom Johnson had all stayed out and got the wave around, so they had all been able to get back onto the lead lap. As right now, Johnny Berardi is the only one lap down, and Brian Lowhead is listed as 2 laps down. So. As we had seen on that basically green flag run, right after talking to Kevin Pasquich, maybe it was the good luck that we wished upon him for the rest of the race, but he was able to drive up the outside and take the lead from Kyle Zimmer.
I'm very interested to see how the second half of the race will go on for these drivers. Will the 25 continue to dominate, or will a newcomer show up? Because right now we're seeing a newcomer, well, not necessarily a newcomer, but somebody other than the 25 actually leading laps and passing drivers for the lead. Now that we got the 13 of Alan Capers back in the lead lap, it's also interesting to see what he can do. We saw him kept passing a couple of trucks on the outside line. We'll see if he can get himself back up in a higher position. Is currently being shown in 5th place. As we were saying before, the caution came out. I don't know, we should be getting 1 to go actually this time by. No,
and if you do look closely, sorry to interject,
okay.
The front right of Kevin Pasquich has a little bit of front right damage, so he must have got up into the wall at some point over that last stint. As it's not a lot, it's just enough where it's kind of a little bit bent in, and then obviously Kyle Zimmer's been fast, and on that previous longer run right before that caution, Kevin Paskowicz had joined Kyle Zimmer and Alan Capers in the 27-second bracket. So Paskowicz has definitely been able to gain speed as the night's gone on, and if he can keep that car clean and towards the front, it should be able to help him. His track position has seemed to be pretty big here tonight with such a, like I had mentioned earlier, deceptively small racing line. Track position can be very vital here.
Something cool to note, or interesting to note, I meant to say, while we were quickly on board with the 27, you're not hearing it there, but while we were quickly on board for a little while, right here you're hearing it, he is shutting off that engine. We do have 44 laps at the fuel, and they've been running about 7 laps since their last pit stop. It's also interesting to see, maybe if Kevin is doing this for fun, or if there's an actual reason to him shutting off his engine.
Yeah, I noticed that I can't tell for sure if he's shutting it off or if he's just holding the clutch, which sounds like it's shutting it off then, because then there's no RPMs going on. But he's definitely doing something to try to either save fuel or have fun, and we've noticed it a couple times before in this truck that he's one of the ones that's trying to save fuel. I know it happened at Pocono, so either he's close or he's trying to think about, hey, if there's a longer run here, I want to be able to make it to the end, as he's almost thinking ahead there, and then he's one of the only drivers that I've noticed to do this, other than myself when I do it in the Xfinity car. But it's just something he's thinking ahead. Maybe, hey, I only have X amount of laps of fuel left in this car, and there's X amount of laps left, so I might be able to try to make this with no more stops if this thing goes green.
Alright, well, pace car is off, and AJ, I'll let you go ahead and call this one out.
Yeah, pace car is off. We'll see who gets the good start as we're waiting on the green flag. Green flag is out. They're still side by side. Zimmer gets a very good jump on that outside line, though. Gets about a half a car width. We're going to be 2 by 2 for 3 rows going into the first turn. Still side by side for the lead. Paskowicz trying to hold on, a little bit of contact back in the pack. They're able to save it. Looks like Alan Capers a little bit sideways, but was able to save it as everybody is now single file. Kevin Paskowicz directly behind Kyle Zimmer.
Yes, 13 of Alan Capers was just a little too aggressive there on the restart. Made contact with the 88, and that just really hurt the 13. Pardon me, not the 88. It was the no, it was the 88. I'm going blind. Really hurt 13 of Alan Capers. Really didn't do much for the 88 James Fox, and maybe kill his tires a little. As you see Fernando Matos and the 80 Kevin Cochran going side by side. They were going side by side. Now they're going to be exiting the corner single file with the advantage going on to Fernando Matos. Alan Capers right in the outside wall. It looks like he's struggling right now, trying to push this truck a little bit harder than it needs to be pushed right now. Fernando Matos just needs to relax.
Yeah. As we had mentioned, Alan Capes had been one of the faster cars on the night, and he probably knows that he has the speed and is just trying to push and get towards the front, and it's not really working out so far for him as we have a side-by-side battle. Fernando Matos trying to hold tough on the outside. A little bit of contact there sent Fernando Matos out into the outside wall, but they are all staying straight.
So the 17 of Fernando Matos got kind of moved up there a little. Of course, not on purpose. This is all racing incidents with these guys. And that just killed his truck. He's definitely going to be needing to either fast repair it or just repair it in general in iRacing. I do not believe we actually caught it on the camera, but the 25 did end up going around the 27 of Kevin Paskowicz. So now the 25 is back to his dominant form, leading laps and really pulling away almost over 2.5 seconds over the 27 Kevin Paskowicz, who actually has over a second behind third place. Where third place is almost hot zone right now, as the 88 James Fall is going to be trying to catch up to the back of the 32 of Billy Wise and pass him for third place.
Yeah, this third, fourth, sixth train right here that we have going on is currently the closest battle that we have on the track. Billy White is able to hold third so far, but James Afal is right behind him and has shown that he has consistently been top 3 all night. So he's trying to look to catch up to Billy and get around him here to get back to where he had been. But this is heating up to be a little third place battle here. These cars are almost so identical, so hard to tell who's who, but James Afal is currently going on the low side and trying to look low and make a move. This is also going to draw Kevin Cochran in closer from behind.
Not only Kevin Cochran, but that whole other 2 vehicles in 98 and the 13 of Adam Capers. All of these drivers actually back in the lead lap. The only 2 drivers that are not in the lead lap is Brian Lowhead, who is in 6th, who is in 10th place. And he's 1 lap down, and the 99 of Johnny Berardi, who is actually taking his truck behind the garage. It's unknown yet if the 98 will be returning or if he's just getting some damage fixed, but he is off track at the moment.
As we had mentioned, this is a big green that you can see here on track with a lot of close cars. Currently, it's almost 2 separate battles. It's a 3rd, 4th battle, and then 5th, 6th, 7th are all close together as well in a little train of 3. So currently James Afal gets a good run off that corner off turn 4 and is now side by side here with Billy Wise heading into 1.
Ooh, very, the 98 of Christopher Birch really drove it deep in there and gained up a lot of ground as we see the 88 of 32 of Billy Wise almost hitting the outside wall, but 32 Billy Wise actually has a very fast truck. I'm very impressed to see him being hanging on to this 3rd place position, considering how wide and high he's getting. It seems as that high side racing has finally caught up with him, and he smacked the outside wall. It's not going to be enough to kill his truck, but it's enough to lose a couple spots, considering how close every other truck was behind him. Going to drop all the way from 3rd down to 7th. That's a lot of positions lost as the 13 of Adam Capers gets loose. Brings it around town. Caution is not out yet, but I expect race control to throw one pretty soon. No caution out yet. No damage for the 13. Brought it around town without actually hitting anybody. Almost gives it too much beans and hits the outside wall, but it does a great job of saving it as we are going to go caution free at the moment with 32 laps to go.
That 13 was able to get that off the wall, and it did appear to be a solo spin with no contact. The way that race control usually calls it is if it's a multi-car incident that iRacing does not call, usually he'll throw the caution. But if it's a single spinner that didn't have any contact, didn't get helped around, that isn't thrown by iRacing, then he'll tend to usually let it go. So this one is let go as we stay green with 31 to go.
All right, we do want to go ahead and get a quick update on the 99 Johnny Berardi situation. We did get confirmation from a reliable source that the 99 was disqualified from the event. It was an accidental issue that the 99 did, Johnny Berardi admitting to his mistake, and it costed him, iRacing disqualified him. So 99 will no longer be returning back into the racetrack, which means I believe it is now official. The 25 will be the champion. Because with the current points differential and the fact that the 25 is leading the most laps, I do not believe it's physically, mathematically possible for the 27 of Paskowitz to catch up. Am I correct?
It should be mathematically possible with Kyle Zimmer leading the most laps. Kyle Zimmer should have this championship secured, but he wants a little bit more than that. It looks like he's on his route to a win and a championship as he has now pulled a 7.9 second gap to Kevin Paskowitz in second place. So a big gap between first and second. Kyle Zimmer lapping off really hot laps, and even Kevin Paskowitz has put a good gap on the rest of the field, but it's just not enough speed to catch up to Kyle Zimmer. But this battle between 3rd, 4th, and 5th is still going on. This little train is still going, and Chris Roberge is now leading it.
Yeah, Kyle Zimmer is definitely out for vengeance, considering how he had a very fast truck at the Canadian Series finale last week and ended up having very little to show for it. That's the 88 flipping all over up around town. Caution should be coming out this time by, as it's his engine is actually gone. No caution out yet, but we are going to go back and take a look at that replay through the gyro cam. Let's get its money's worth. That truck did really get loose, hit the outside wall maybe. It definitely hit the inside wall and flipped over. Heavy damage. The engine blew right there. You heard it, folks. Caution actually is out, so I believe the caution was definitely for the 88 of James Faw, who is actually still trying to coast it all the way down. Yeah, down to pit road. I don't think there's enough speed in the world in that car to get him all the way down to a stall. Caution will be out, and right after pit stops, we're going to take a quick, small visual break as I try to fix the issues that are appearing with our number font. That being said, at the moment, the 25 is still trying to catch up to the pace car, and once the 25 catches up to the pace car, then it would allow pit road to be opening up the next available chance that these drivers have, according to iRacing.
Yeah, and that last run of green flag was about 17, 18 laps of green flag running. So I would expect to see the entire field in here to get some fresh tires, need that fresh Goodyear rubber, and maybe even add a little bit of fuel, as we did see Paskowicz was trying to save, maybe a little bit close on fuel. So all these drivers are going to want a little bit of both here to start this final, 25 laps.
Yeah, it would be very interesting. And actually, while we do that visual break after pit stops are closed, why don't you go ahead and talk to the 98, Chris Roberts, while I do that transition. Of course, right now he's in his pit stop. So once he's done, we'll give a quick chat with him, ask him how his race is going, and what plans he has for the race. How do you think he's going to turn out? As you see, at 25 exiting pit road, clearly no issues. The 27 right behind them. Tom Johnson stayed out, so he will lead a lap, but we do expect to see him going down pit road this time by as it opens up. All right, AJ, let's go see if you have caught up with the 98 of Chris Roberge.
Hey, Chris, this is AJ in the 3-Wide TV booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I do.
Well, you've had a very interesting race so far. It spent some time a lap down, or 2 laps down, I think, at one point. Was able to get your lap back and drove back up into 3rd place at the end of that stint. How do you feel about this track and car combination?
Well, the track is a little slick on turn turn 2 is a little iffy right now, and turn 3 and 4 is really terrible because you gotta really let go. Just trying to coast cross, but it's really tough. Yeah, I was struggling. I was 2 laps behind, but might as well stay out and try and get my lead lap, and I finally got up to 3rd place and almost got the 2nd place before this caution came out, but see what we could do here.
Yeah, we've seen you climb up in the back of the pack already so far, and do you think that's partly because you found more speed here at the track, or you found more consistency, or a little bit of both?
A little bit of both. I do have, my truck is really quick on certain areas, but it's just, I notice a lot of people slow down 1 and 2, but I just try to take it easy with the tires too, because if you wear your tires pretty fast on this track.
Yeah, well, going here into the final 20 laps or so, how do you feel about your chances to podium or even go and win this thing?
Oh, we just have to wait and see, right?
Great hearing from you, Chris, and good luck for the rest of the race.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, AJ. We are 1 to go right now. We are trying to get ourselves back up and situated. AJ, I'm gonna need you to take over for a little bit until I can get myself back.
Okay, are you able to move this back?
Yeah, you gotta move me back there.
Oh, yes.
I
I'll be
have
able
no
to do that.
permissions.
No worries. There you go. We are currently in the backstretch, and I believe we should be getting ourselves back up and running within the next few seconds.
Yep, currently you're not missing anything. We're just about to enter turn 3
And
with
not
the
because they're
1 to
back.
go. And we are back, yeah, so you missed nothing. Praise the man behind the board.
Pace car is off. We should be going back pretty soon. AJ, why don't you go ahead and give us another restart?
Well, if you haven't been entertained enough so far, here we are about to have another restart. Kyle Zimmer's down on the inside. Green flag is out. they have an almost equal start there. Kevin Paskowicz is just going to beat him to the line and have a good run going on this outside. As the front two are the only side-by-side, there's a little bit of contact. Kyle Zimmer looked like he came up into him a little bit. We'll have to check the replay, but heavy impacts going down the whole back of the pack. Surprised iRacing has not thrown a caution as there's
Caution
still
should
more.
be coming out.
And there is the caution. That had to be manually thrown. iRacing didn't even throw that one, but there's
Very
two
strange.
completely separate incidents there. Definitely going to have to go back and check out some of those replays.
Let's go back in full, see just what happened. The 27 and 25 made some contact, and the 98 got loose all the way into the inside. That should have really brought out a caution, as the 98 made some contact with the 17. Let's go back and take a look at the 27, because that was definitely a hot issue there of what happened. There's a 27 making contact with the 25, and then making contact with the 98. Heavy damage with the 32. Surprisingly, really no caution was thrown for that. It should have been, but caution was thrown now, and we move back on. Currently, the 32 is trying to get himself situated back with the rest of the group. Engine is smoking heavily. 17 in pit road, 57 in pit road, Adam Capers in pit road, and Kevin Paskowicz, of course, also going down pit road as well.
Yeah, bad and sad news there. As you had seen for a couple seconds, James Afal looked like he had blown his engine as a part of the heavy contact there on that spin. So he did have to take the tow back to pit road.
Actually, that was from the last caution.
Still from the last caution.
Yeah,
so,
he's been there for about 5 minutes now.
So he's still a couple laps down. He might have accidentally had his fast repair not checked. I know that is something that I've done before, where you have your fast repair not checked, and then you go onto pit road, and then it's like, hey, you have 20 minutes required repairs. So if that's the case, that is upsetting for him, as he had a great race going so far, leading in or being around second and third almost the entire race, but heavy caution or heavy damage in that, and currently this is going to leave Kyle Zimmer as the leader, with Kevin Cochran and Chris Roberge staying out to be second and third, and then the rest of the cars behind them pitted. So I know it was only about one lap of tires, but it could make a little bit of a difference here.
All right, pardon me. All right, well, I am obviously not a championship contender. I am not going to be a person that's going to go out there and win a championship. So I don't really have much experience to go on with this. But you're definitely fast. You're capable of winning a championship. You're a championship contender. How do you approach this series, the season finale race, knowing that you have a chance at wrapping up a championship?
Yeah, well, approaching this race is a little bit different than most championship scenarios, being that it was a full cumulative 10 race points. Having that big lead into the final race can really help you, as we had seen, as we had mentioned, Kyle Zimmer could pretty much clinch it just by leading the most amount of laps today. So it's a little bit different in this scenario, because Kyle Zimmer can go and almost approach this as any sort of race and just go try to win. If this was a little bit of a closer championship, say 4 points or so, then you might be thinking a little bit more conservatively. If you're too wide, you might be thinking, hey, I'm going to back out of this, keep my truck clean, not risk taking a tow, not risk having to use a fast repair, because you want to be able to save as much as you can for late if needed. But in this sort of scenario, Kyle Zimmer is just able to drive hard and go for the championship, and it also helps a little bit when Kyle Zimmer is as fast as he's been today. We've seen him on multiple occasions just straight up pull away to very big leads, almost 9-10 seconds at some points over the course of a small 15-lap stint. So Kyle Zimmer seems to be pretty much in control of this thing, and also with leading the amount of laps he has, he's probably not too worried about having to keep his truck clean and whatnot. But in other series, or in a closer championship, like when I won the first truck championship that we had, or the second one, I don't remember which one it was, but I think it was the first one that we had when it was still cumulative, but it was a closer championship finale. So I knew that it was pretty good at Homestead, but I had to back off a little bit. And once I knew that I had led some laps and maybe once I'd gotten out front, led a couple laps, then I was able to just kind of, hey, let's back off, save the truck. I know that I have to be this amount of many spots behind the guy that I'm competing with. So it's a little bit of mind games over the course of the entire race when you're a championship leader. But Kyle Zimmer was lucky enough to have a big enough lead where he probably didn't have to worry too much going into tonight. As we're heading into the race.
Yes, green flag is back out, and these drivers, they're itching for 17 laps to go in this season finale. More than likely, might be the last time you see the trucks racing here in the SimPossible Racing League, at least for a long time. Nothing is confirmed, of course, but these drivers, they definitely want to lean back a different way, checking out other forms of racing, such as modifieds, and I'm very interested in what these drivers can do. So 17 laps to go here at the Truck Series. 25 pretty much has his championship locked up, but does he have this race win in the bag? He definitely does have the speed for it, but as we saw last week, just having the speed isn't enough. You also have to have some sort of luck.
Yeah, and so far he's been able to have luck, minus the very first few opening laps. He's been able to stay out front and keep this thing out front and pretty clean there. So far been doing a really good job of being able to stay out front. And on that last restart, Fernando Matos had a good restart, was able to put his truck up into second position with Chris Roberge, who we had just talked to, in third, with Billy Wise all over the back of that Tide truck. Hopefully Billy isn't eating the Tide Pods and can hopefully stay off of his back bumper.
Wow, it's been a while since I've heard of that. It was like earlier last year, I believe. Anyway, with about 15 laps to go, Chris Roberge is definitely pulling away, and a good comeback for Chris Roberge. He was, I believe, at worst 2 laps down in the beginning part of this race. Got himself some very bad luck and is now running in third. So it's a very, very good driving by Chris Roberge. It's one of the bigger upsets now is kind of Alan Cabers, who he was a couple laps down earlier in today's race. And but he had a rocket. He was definitely pulling up to a bunch of these drivers, getting in a position to win, and just made a couple of mistakes, got himself up back. But an even bigger disappointment for the 27 is he was in a position to maybe not win the race, but finish in the top 3, if not the top 2. Right now, currently 1 lap down. The only driver that's 1 lap down in 9th place. So definitely not where Kevin Pascoe wants to be, especially on a track that he really has strong opinions for. So I dropped something. The 27 not having a good time right now, and with very little laps left in this race, it's going to be very hard for him to get himself back in the lead lap and finish in a position where he probably should have been finishing.
Yeah, and as you noticed, Kevin Pascoe almost got out of that there to just let Capers by. With him being the only car lap down, all he has to do is hope for a caution to be able to get back onto the lead lap. But with 12 to go, who knows if we'll be able to get that. But Kyle Zimmer able to pull up to over a 4-second lead right now. Fernando Matos holding very strong in second place, with Chris Roberge and Kevin Cochran just waiting there in third and fourth. This could be a battle for the final podium spot here towards the end of the race. But Kyle Zimmer basically able to just walk away with it.
Almost 10 laps to go here. Final 10 laps of this truck season wrapping up. It's very interesting finishing a season at Darlington. I don't really remember any series that I've been to that has finished at Darlington, but it's a very fun track to finish at. And it would be interesting to maybe see the Cup Series finish the season here in real life.
Yeah, very interesting track to say the least to finish at. But it also keeps it concurrent with the Xfinity Series is their Wednesday, so our B car race is their Wednesday.
And tomorrow's broadcast as well.
It does allow people to kind of get familiar with the track a little bit for those who hadn't raced it before going into Wednesday for our SimPossible group. I don't know if all these guys had raced here before. I know I've raced here, but not in iRacing. I had to purchase the track today. It is a track I've been okay with, I kind of liked, but it is also a track that I just haven't had the need to run. So it does allow some of these drivers to get out, get some sort of feel for what Darlington's going to be like going into Wednesday for us. And just to take one more look at the standings going into today, we were pretty sure Kyle Zimmer has this one on lockdown. Kevin Paskowicz had second place lockdown from that point on. But Fernando Matos had a 3-point lead on Alan Capers for third. So Fernando Matos is going to hope to stay ahead of Alan Capers and come home in the third place in this league. I had mentioned earlier Kevin Paskowicz and Kyle Zimmer each had 2 wins, as well as Chris Roberge. And then the only other winners in this series were Tom Johnson. Myself, I had 1 win early on when I still ran the trucks, and then David Wilson came in and also has a win in this series too.
Well, I remember the first time I came into this racetrack. It was about a couple years ago when I was racing in the 3-Ride Racing League. Not related, of course, with 3-Ride TV. We all just came from there. It was a throwback event, and I had a very beautiful Tony Stewart like rookie season type of paint scheme. Not rookie season, like a late 90s type of scheme going on. I really liked it. It was beautiful. And then the week before the race, I had an issue with my pedals where they fell down and it literally ripped the cable from the pedal base. So I had a wheel that had no pedals, and I couldn't really do anything about it. I purchased some secondhand G25 pedals because I had a G27 from a friend, and got those a couple days after the race. So in order to actually fulfill and race that car in that beautiful Tony Stewart throwback scheme, I had to hook up a PS4 controller and race a race in the controller, which I actually know a couple people in real life who do that professionally here in iRacing. I mean, not professionally, but for their leagues, so they do that all the time as opposed to a wheel. But it was incredibly hard to even run that. I believe I did get wrecked out, but it was not because of my fault. I was actually holding my own middle of the pack, just doing what I needed to do, and I got wrecked out through an accident I had no relation to. But that was a fun memory, just hooking up a PS4 controller, learning how to drive in one again, because it's been a couple years since I've been in console racing. And I had a blast, but I definitely would choose a controller. I definitely would choose a wheel over a controller any day now.
Yeah, wheel's definitely better. Controller, if you get used to it, it can be okay and feasible. As you had mentioned, some people do it professionally, but at all tracks to want to relearn how to do that, Darlington would not be towards the top of that list. As we are here with 3 laps to go. Currently, Kyle Zimmer is holding about a 10-second lead on Fernando Matos. Fernando Matos able to hold strong in second right now with about a 2-second gap to Roberge. Kevin Cochran just waiting there a couple tenths behind Roberge, waiting for any sort of accident to jump up into the podium.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right there. Just almost 11 seconds of a difference between first and second place. We saw it right there. Definitely about half a lap's worth for sure. Pardon me, a little bit less than half a lap, as we are now on the last lap of the race, on the back stretch. The final lap of this truck series season. Kyle Zimmer is going to be coming into turn 3 and 4. Clean truck at the moment, exiting the corner, no issues, and Kyle Zimmer is going to be finding himself in victory lane as the champion. It's the wrong sound effect.
Kyle Zimmer with a fantastic race all around to not only come away with the win, but in dominant fashion. But even then, as we had mentioned, Fernando Matos pulled away a good lead on third place. So Fernando Matos finishes very strongly in this race to come away with second, as Chris Roberge ends up third, and Kevin Cochran fourth, Tom Johnson fifth to round out the top 5.
So congratulations to the 25 of Kyle Zimmer, getting himself a redemption race, winning the race and the championships. That's the second championship in 2 weeks, third championship in about a year and a half. Congratulations to Kyle Zimmer. Definitely one of the better drivers, one of the best drivers in the SimPossible Racing League. Of course, a lot of these drivers here, they all drive their heart out, and every single one of these guys are all capable of winning races. Just have to fall into the right circumstances and not get involved in unlucky incidents. But the 25 will win the race and the championship. Let's go ahead and watch them burn it down. Alright, mics are cold. Now mics are cold. Yeah. Actually, I really want to get water. Can you get third and I'll get second and first? Is that good for you? All right, and welcome back. What an embarrassing moment when I realized that I muted the wrong mic and you guys could hear exactly what I was saying. Oh man, wasn't that fun? Anyway, AJ Digby is here to wrap up this Truck Series championship in the broadcast booth, as he's going to go ahead and talk to our third place finisher, Chris Roberge. Let's go see if we can bring in the third place finisher. AJ, are you live?
I'm here. Chris, you got a copy?
I'm here. Yes, I do.
Awesome. Well, we had talked to you earlier. You said that you had pretty good chances of, or you were hoping that you had pretty good chances to stay in the top 3, and you said we'll see, and there you were. You ended up third place tonight. Tell us about your race as a whole there at the end.
Well, it was a little tough. I would have had a good, but I hit the wall on a couple corners. I would have caught up to Fiando, but it's all right. Third's better than nothing. But it was a good race.
Yeah, you walk away with the podium. You can't be mad about that. I had noticed over the course of the race that, like I had said, you had some very up and downs, as right now you're pushing Kyle Zimmer, our champion, and in that final stint you had ran one of your fastest laps. So as you had said, you had worked on consistency and speed, and you definitely had increased some speed. Was there anything specific that you had found in your line to get better?
Yeah, I knew I was really strong with the speed with turn 1 and 2, so I knew I had a really fast truck on those corners. I was catching up to Fiando at the time being, but all I could do is just try and keep it consistent all around the corners and do my best.
And in this championship, you didn't have a chance to battle for the championship. You had missed one race early on, but you do finish with 2 wins and 6 top 5s. So you had a very good, solid season just with the one race gone. If you had been there for the race that you missed, do you think you would have had a good chance to contend for the championship?
Oh yeah, I would.
And are you excited for Wednesday? You get to come back to Darlington for the B-Car Series race.
Oh yeah, I am. Going to be a same certified truck, just to let you guys know.
And last question, do you think anything that you learned from racing here today at Darlington will be able to help you directly into Wednesday?
A little bit. Well, the B car's a little bit more faster, more whatever. It's just gonna be a little bit more throttle control around corners here.
Okay, thank you very much, Chris. Congrats on the podium and third place finish.
Thank you very much.
Actually, Chris, before we do let you go, do you have any shout outs you want to give out? This is the final time you can do it for the Truck Series.
Oh, I know. Okay, well, big shout out to my wife. Huge support for me for this race, and including my best friend / co-worker. And thanks to you guys for amazing job here for doing the broadcasting for us each weekend and week out. And thanks for Just Submit for doing this thing. This one not even be possible if this was not happening.
All right, thank you so much, Chris, and you can go ahead and finish off this championship, relax, and in a couple of weeks' time, you'll be back in the Winter Series, unbroadcasted, of course, but get yourself a little winter break before we do go back to Cup racing on Mondays.
Oh yeah, and just to let you know, yes, I will be on Kyle Zimmer team for the Cup Series.
Oh, what great news! Thank you so much, Chris. We look forward to hearing from you on Wednesday.
Thank you very much.
All right, and now we are going to be catching up very, very soon as I try to see if I can find the second place finisher of Fernando Matos. And yes, here is Fernando Matos wiping off the sweat from his brow. Fernando, you ended up finishing second in a race where maybe you probably wanted to get a win, Fernando. How was your race overall?
It was a great race. We had one problem in the middle where we didn't take a fancy pair and the truck was a bit slow, but other than that, things run really smoothly. And thanks to my spotter, Wayne, who spotted and crew chief me tonight, we brought the truck home in second.
That's great to hear, Fernando. Definitely a well-earned finish. You can go ahead and finish off this season in a high note. Get yourself some fun in the Winter Series before you come back. I don't know if you'll be coming back, but before the series comes back or comes to the Cup racing on Mondays in 2020. Are you excited for that? Will you be racing in that series?
Oh yeah, I'll be here. So excited for the next Monday series. I think it will be racing Mondays way before 2020, so I'm excited to get going again in a few weeks.
That's great to hear, Fernando, and you definitely had a very nice throwback. I don't know if you want to talk about that.
Yeah, I was gonna run the tire truck originally to match that World Trip 17. So Chris Bush wanted to run that truck, so I went to Trading Paints, got myself a new truck. And
is that a Ken Schrader Hendrick car?
To be honest, I'm not sure. I need to brush up from my NASCAR history, but
yeah, it reminds me of the 25. I forgot who drove it, or I know it's for Hendrick if it was the 25, but yeah, it's a very nice truck. I do enjoy it. Although I'm sure the 17 would have looked very, very sweet with your 17 number on it. Anyway, Fernando,
yep.
before we do let you go, I'm sure you have some of those sweet shout outs you want to give out.
Yeah, shout out to my spotter tonight, Wayne. Man, you did a great job. Thank you for taking me home in the podium. Shout out to my parents, to my sister watching the race. Love you guys. Shout out to Jeff for putting out a great series and a great group of guys. And a shout out to you guys at True TV for doing what you do with so much love and skill. You guys are awesome.
All right, thank you so much, Fernando, and we wish you a very happy winter break, winter fun before we come back in 2020. Fernando, I look forward to hearing from you in 2020 as well as tomorrow.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Oh, your engine just blew. That sucks. Merry Christmas to you. All right. Well, I believe. Oh, look who is here. If I am correct, yes. Oh my goodness. It's the race. It's the series. It's the league owner, Jeff Schmidt. Jeff, I know it's enchilada night, but before you can dig in, I'm gonna need some help for you. Do you want to help me?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, you can get your enchilada later. I need you to help me interview Kyle Zimmer. Would you be so kind as to type what I am saying to him?
Yeah, no problem. Let me just get a
Okay.
hold of him quick.
No
just give me
worries.
a brief moment.
All right, as we are actually approaching the 25 in victory lane, the 25 of Kyle Zimmer is just finishing celebrating, and we are waiting for the all clear from Jeff before we can continue to talk to him.
Yep, I'm in the process right now. In the meantime, I did want to bring up, I think there was miscommunication for the Monday night series for 2020. That will not be Cup. That will be on Wednesday, like our Xfinity series is.
Oh,
Our Cup series will be Wednesday. That's our main series will remain on Wednesday. And for Mondays, we're not really sure what we're going to do yet. It's going to be more of a laid-back, fun, shorter race kind of deal. So looking forward to see what the guys decide on that.
Jeff, I think we've come across at a very, very bad time because you're going to need to change those plans because I cannot seem like a liar. If you tell me that what I've been saying is a lie, it's not going to go well. Anyway, we do apologize for that mix-up. I'm sure I must have mixed it up internally because I don't think anything was changed before. So yes, my correction. The Wednesday series in 2020 will be the Cup Series. Mondays is still yet to be determined, but there will be a Winter Series. We'll see more about that later on. But I believe Kyle is ready to be interviewed.
He is. I got him right here.
All
Any
right.
questions you got, I will his way.
Yes, Kyle. I know it's usually me that's chatting to you, but now it's Jeff. You got yourself a redemption race, winning it. And winning the championship after getting a disappointment last week. How does it feel knowing that you're back in victory lane with your third championship in a year and a half? Gonna go ahead and wait a moment while Jeff is typing the message onto Kyle Zimmer, our 2019 B Car Series champion, or Truck Series champion.
Yeah, and definitely felt good to have redemption race after last week. But first of all, I want to apologize to Kevin for the one part of earlier of the race and after the last prior caution to it. I'm not sure what happened. I think it was Nick Coder's burden. I want to apologize to him because I know he was one of the championship contender as well for today. Today we had I had a extremely strong but winning the race and championship as well and felt great and yeah, having my third championship. This is more special, especially at the track we're at. Very iconic track, I would call it, or legendary track of Darlington. Yeah, it was a great race and it was really smooth and not making any mistakes. And victory lane after I had some mistakes the past few weeks. Not even to win. Nice to win today.
Alright, well, you definitely showed everybody who was boss out here tonight, winning the race and the championship. I've been lying to everybody by saying that 2020 in Monday will be the Cup Series, but it's actually going to be in Wednesday. Are you looking forward to the Cup Series, or are you going to try to stay away from that? Once again, gonna wait a quick moment while Jeff transcribes what I've been saying onto the 25 of Kyle Zimmer.
Yeah, and definitely fast tonight, and yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to the Cup Series next year. Very exciting. I've been started racing, and other than in the Cup, and I've started getting more confidence in those cars and learning the package as well. Very excited to see what happens next year. Go from there, but yeah, I'm excited for it.
Well, that's well said by our brand new 2019 Truck Series Split Series champion, Kyle Zimmer. Kyle, before we do let you go, do you have a very, very grand championship worthy type of shout outs you want to give out here tonight?
Yeah, definitely. Like to shout out to you guys. My TV broadcasting this week out, and you guys have done a phenomenal job on this, and I love watching you guys speak. I also want to think shout out to Jeff for creating this thing. Yeah, I'm also very excited for the upcoming event that we're having in a couple weeks. Excited for that. I also want to thank everyone who participated as well. Great challenge with the Split Series and you know, try to do the best you can out there. And I also want to thank my team, Stage Racing. Once again, first came home third. We had both trucks and podium spots today. And great race today. And next season, whatever brings. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Kyle, our 2019 Truck Series Split Series champion. We do wish him luck, and we look forward to hearing from him on Wednesday and or in 2020. So that will be all for Kyle Zimmer. And oh my goodness, I am so sorry, Jeff, but it looks like they ran out of all the enchiladas. You will have to settle in for cold cuts here tonight. Do apologize for that.
Okay.
Oh man, but it was for a well cause. It was fantastic. Thank you so much for helping me out. But before we do wrap up our broadcast, Jeff, how are you doing, man? Another fantastic championship into the record books in 2019. In a year and a half that this series has been going on, 3 championships going on, very successful, and hope you're proud of yourself for the amazing things that you've been doing with this league.
Oh, I truly appreciate it. No, I'm more proud of the drivers in the league. I really am. They've really stepped it up. They've done what they've had to do to have a good time. Most importantly, have a good time. That's what we always say. If you're not having fun out there, then it's not worth it. And the guys, they're having a blast, man. So that's a success automatically. But they've really stepped it up with their racing too. And by going out there and letting loose and not really having to worry about a whole lot and just racing hard, it makes for really good racing actually. And hey, here's a hint for some other leagues out there. Maybe if the drivers are having fun, then the racing will be good. If the drivers are stressed out, then problems happen. And I've noticed that time and time again, and it's been a great thing, man. It really has. I'm so proud of everyone. Kyle put on a hell of a show tonight. He definitely deserves the 3 championships that he has. He's not only been consistent, but he's been up at the front almost every single race that he's participated in. So awesome job by him. Congrats, Kyle.
All right, fantastic. Well said. It's still not yet fully determined what's going to be replacing on Mondays, but it is going to be a winter series type of deal. Look forward to hearing about that. Might hop into a race or two if I'm available, or I might even broadcast a race or two depending on what's going on. But you do have a couple stuff that is already planned that will be coming up within the next couple of weeks here in September. I don't know if you want to talk about those.
Yeah, absolutely. September 7th, Team Brit, PCDC, and SimAbility sponsored event, Silverstone 6-hour race, road course racing. That's an awesome event that everyone should tune into. We're going to have 4 SimPossible cars out there, the HPDs at Silverstone. So it's going to be a great show. I know there's going to be a lot of great drivers out there. It's for great cause. Check into that. Tune into that. Follow us on SimPossible. Follow us on Twitter, SimPossible_. Follow us on Facebook, SimPossible Racing League. We're definitely going to be sharing that event as well as our own, which we'll get into in a minute here. But that event will be coming up September 7th. So it's a Saturday. Mark your calendars. Come check it out. I think we've been granted an opportunity to even talk at the event a little bit and to have our cars out there, of course. It's going to be a great thing. It's going to be really cool, and I know the guys are going to do a great job at that 6-hour race. September 14th, the following week, also Saturday, of course, we're doing the SimPossible 500, our own fundraising event, and our first special event in the SimPossible Racing League. Looking extremely forward to that. 500-mile race. Going to be plenty of time to do a lot of things, to talk about the league, to promote the league, to talk about the drivers in it, how awesome they are. Man, I could go on and on about that. We might need a 24-hour race for that one, actually. Carlos is like, no, I'm not broadcasting a 24-hour race.
I don't know, maybe one day.
Oh, man. Well, if you do, I'd be there to help, buddy. No, so September 14th, SimPossible 500. It's going to be awesome. We're going to be releasing public sign-up very soon here. So follow us, of course. Like I said, Twitter, SimPossible_, Facebook, SimPossible Racing League. Get a hold of me, Jeff Schmidt, anywhere on iRacing, Facebook. Doesn't matter. Wherever you get a hold of me, get a hold of me. If you want to be in that event, then we'd love to have you. We got some awesome prizes. Just looking to raise money through viewer donorship, and yeah, that's pretty much it. We got some awesome stuff to give away. So hopefully we can at least match the value of the prizes for donations. If we could do that, that would be amazing, because we really have some cool stuff to give away to the drivers. Other than that, yeah, I got to give a shout out to the drivers, of course, putting on a heck of a show always, having a good time, always progressing. The races are amazing to watch. I always have a blast. Thank you so much, Carlos, for doing this. 3Wide TV. Thanks, AJ, for being in the booth today. Cameron, Peter, all the guys at 3Wide for helping out when you guys do pretty much every race that we do, right? It's truly something awesome. We really appreciate it, man. I love watching it. Got to thank everyone that's donated to us for our event coming up. We got some awesome prizes. Like I said, a lot of companies donated some cool equipment for us to give away. It's going to be sad to see some of the stuff leave, man, because it's nice stuff. Like I said, hopefully we can raise enough for at least the value of the products that we have. If we could do that, then we would be golden. And the drivers would be able to have a nice amount in the funds here to be able to pay for anything that they need here. So we do help out with content, with subscription, with whatever. If the driver needs help and they contact me, we help them out. So the money goes to the right place. Every penny goes towards the drivers. So if you do want to donate, if you're interested in donating to the league, paypal.me/SimPossible is where we collect that. We don't do GoFundMe or any of that because using PayPal that way, the drivers get 100% of the funds. It goes all to them. So we don't have to pay out a percentage or whatever to a certain website. Got to thank the families of the drivers for helping them out, of course. If it wasn't for a lot of them, then the drivers wouldn't be able to come out here and compete. So got to thank the families and everyone that watches the broadcast. Thank you so much for your support. We love all of you, and we really appreciate it. We see you out there, and you know, the more the merrier. Tell your friends, tell anyone anyone that likes racing, tell them about us, have them watch. It's really a cool thing what we do, and everyone has a great time.
That's great to hear, Jeff, and we do look forward to wrapping up a couple more seasons with you guys, or one more season, at least one more season before this year ends. Looking forward to what the B Car Series can bring in for the rest of the year. So before we do let you go, do you have any shout-outs you may have forgotten to bring up?
No, I think I pretty much tagged everyone there. Of course, there's a long list. There really is, and tune in to the special event broadcast by 3Wide TV, September 14th, SimPossible 500, and we'll be able to give everyone the credit that they do deserve for helping us out, because we're going to have a lot more time to do it. So make sure to tune into that event. It's going to be an awesome race. Full 500-mile event. Hoping to have 43 cars out there going at it at Daytona. It's going to be a lot of fun. Most, if not all, the SimPossible drivers will be there. I know a couple won't, but the majority will be there to race. And yeah, looking for streamers. If you're out there and you're a streamer and you want to stream the race and help spread the word, we're definitely looking to get you early sign up if you're interested. Sign up is going to go live quick here, and it's going to fill up quick. So if you are interested and you have some way or somehow that you can help the league by being in that event, get a hold of me ASAP, and I'll get you an early sign up. Other than that, I pretty much covered my bases and really just blessed to be able to do this to help the guys out. Our Monday night series, we're going to take a couple weeks off for Monday, and then we'll be in something for a winter series, and that's to be determined. I heard modifieds, I heard late models, so it might be a split series between modified and late model on Monday. And of course, that's not going to be broadcast. Our Wednesday series will continue to be, so that's great. And then in year 2020, we will be following the Cup schedule in the Cup cars on Wednesday instead of Xfinity. And then what we do for Mondays and, during that time, that's still up in the air too. So the Monday series, it could be whatever. We have no idea yet. It's really whatever the drivers want to do. I'm 100% for what they want to drive. So the majority rules, and it's going to be interesting to see what they choose to drive for that.
All right, well, thank you so much, Jeff. AJ, do you have anything you want to add?
No, all I know is it's been great to be able to jump up into the booth for some of this truck series schedule. I know personally I was not super interested in the truck, so it might be one of my last broadcasts for a while, and it's been a pleasure to be able to be up here and broadcast some of these races and share the stories and share in these moments with these incredible drivers.
All right, well, thank you so much, Jeff, AJ. But before we do wrap up this broadcast, believe we have a couple race results to go over here tonight. Congratulations to the race winner and champion Kyle Zimmer, who dominated tonight's race, finishing with well over a 10-second lead, 2-second push on the Matos. Christopher Birch finishing third, coming back from 2 laps down. Kevin Cochran in fourth. Tom Johnson will be finishing fifth. Adam Capers in sixth. Brian Lowhead will be finishing seventh. Billy Wise in eighth. Kevin Paskovich will be finishing ninth. Definitely a race he did not want to finish in a position like that, with James Default finishing 10th. And in last place, I believe, Johnny Berardi will be finishing last after being disqualified very early on due to a mistake he made. So that will wrap it up for us here tonight. My name is Carlos Acosta. You got AJ Digby here and Jeff Schmidt. We're all going to wish you guys a good night, and we will see you guys on Wednesday for some more SimPossible Darlington racing, and Tuesday for some American Sim Racing Series Darlington racing as well. So good night, everybody.